Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for a purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. For uses of use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now let's start this dang show.
You don't have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
What is up? Where's the music? There you go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Wednesday show of The Cage Match. On this episode, we go back into the history of, what do you call it? The Black Hole and the Raider Nation and the Oakland Coliseum, Parking Lot D, all that great stuff, you know, that we're known for is Know Your History. So
know your fucking history.
I'm trying to share it to everything right now, so
I know that seemed like it went real quick. I barely had time to lay it on the music.
Yeah, because we're not used to being on time, so but we're on time now, and here we are. I feel like this is too loud. Put this up right here. All right, so everybody, welcome to the show right now. We're not used to being on time, but we want to make sure that we're on time, and everybody else is here.
This is about our normal start time.
Yeah.
Late.
So, okay.
This is the Puerto Rican 7 o'clock.
Okay. Reach out to you, Black over. If you see them popping up, try to get them to come on. Okay. All right. Anyways, here we are. All right, welcome everybody to the Cage Match. We are here live, like we always are. Asylum, this is like show 1000 for you.
It feels like it. No, it's only episode 98.
If you get them.
So I'm catching up to Mr. Otto there. Slowly and surely, a week at a time.
Did you cut off the music?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
You were being hard to hear.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. All right. Anyways, here we are. All right, Asylum. How are you doing today?
I'm here. Does that count? I'm present. Present teacher. Sitting in the back of the class today.
All right, so we're here. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to get things over here connected. We're gonna have RaiderMan19, the man you heard at the end of our intro doing the Raider Oath. He's gonna come on because he is from the beginning of the whole Raider Nation thing, 1995 when they came back from LA. So we're going to get his his story. He's doing a lot of things right now, and with his podcast and everything. So we always try to get RaiderMan on, and we know everyone loves RaiderMan. So we try to find a way to get him on. And thank you to Pete Carroll for not having drama on the off season. That we can just focus on the other parts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of Raiders.
We used to have shit to talk about. Now, apparently, because of Pete Carroll, I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm so used to having, issues and things going on, and one of those "what were you thinking" moments, or is this going to hurt? I don't know what to do with myself. I know no news is good news, but I'm used to getting news.
I told that to RaiderMan. I'm all like, every time we try to do something, we want to do something like different other than Raider news. We couldn't, because every offseason, the last 2 off seasons we've done is new coach, new GM, new quarterback, new this, new that. Who are these guys? What are they about? What did they do last year? Are they worthy? Are they good enough? Are we going to be good? Are they going to suck? And now we have a proven head coach, been around the league, college, NFL, championship college, championship NFL. And then we have our GM, who came from the Buccaneers, has a ring with them as an assistant.
Buccaneers.
Said
the fucking Buccaneers.
Yeah. He worked with Tom Brady, who is now our minority owner, who seems to be the face of the Raiders, within the media eyes. So a whole new dynamic, whole new offseason, whole new, I don't know. It's just a whole new thing.
But is it good or bad? It's
quiet. That's all I can say.
When you have kids and you hear quiet, that's usually a bad thing.
Well, unless Pete Carroll's a 73-year-old kid, I think we should be okay. And then Chip Kelly, OC.
He's like a kid out there, right? He's running around, throwing the ball, he's doing all this shit. So, I mean, maybe he is a 73-year-old kid.
As Rich Eisen said on that clip we played last week, they called him the oldest teenager. So I guess that's accurate, So anyways, before we get into all that, let's do our favorite segment, which is, I'm not used to being so quiet, but it's okay. We're going into the segment, so this is where it's quiet. Let's go into our favorite segment, the Shameless Plug Asylum. Here we go.
Okay, everybody go to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, the YouTube channel, The Cage Match Show. Like, share, subscribe. Go ahead and give it that thumbs up and hit that bell. That way anytime a video short or meme or whatever else we put up there comes out. If for some reason Roger Goodell wants to be that cocksucker that he always is, wanting to be booed on stage and tries to shut down the show, you can catch us on Facebook. First off at Oakland Raider Savage, or my page, Asylum. And we'll let you know when it's okay to come back to YouTube, where we don't have to worry about nothing. But we've got Goodell under control. Now, when the show's over, why don't you go ahead and visit WGG, browse their products. If you're new to them, maybe you want to try a sampler like you see on the screen and get a little shaker and everything for it. Go ahead and grab that. And when you're checking out, put Cage Match, one word, in the discount code to get 10% off your entire order.
And like we always say, when you think of wins, think of dubs. When you think of dubs, think of W. Get that energy like Pete Carroll. Who do you think has more energy, Pete Carroll or Max Crosby?
Oh, shit. Okay, it depends. It depends. Game time. If it's not game time, Crosby's putting in the work, but Carroll probably has more energy. But during game time, that motor gets started on Max Crosby. We know it doesn't shut off until the clock, they're in the locker room and everything. And we've even seen in the locker room, it's still going. So, it's tough. That's a tough one there.
I was going to say, it depends on who is drinking W. W.GG. Go there. Cage Match, CAGEMATCH in the discount code. 10% off your whole order is a trick question. And also, shouts out to the Compa Fabian. Go there to www.lifer.com. Go there, check it out. Check out his merchandise. I do not have a hat on from him today because I got them all over the house. And then when I need it with me, I couldn't find one. So When usually I wear a hat.
I always wear a hat from him.
I always wear a hat from him, except for today. I didn't.
Except for today.
So, my bad. But make sure you go check out his stuff. Where are the koozies at? He made our koozies, so go check it out. If you want a koozie, we can put the email up and order a koozie, order a shot glass, order a lanyard, and then soon to come, order a schedule. All right, so go there, check it out. A magnet schedule, yes. Taking it back old school.
Back on the refrigerator.
Yes. That thing that holds your bills. I gotta pay that. I gotta pay that first this beer. Okay.
Oh no, the garbage can holds all my bills.
And also, speaking of RaiderMan, RaiderMan19.com, we're gonna ask him. I believe he's starting up his podcast again, the RaiderMan from Richmond podcast. So he's going to get that going where he puts his take on how he feels about the current Raider regime and everything going on. That is the Raiders right there. And like we said, somehow, some way, we want to find a way to get him to the torch to go and do the Raider oath in front of 65,000 Raider fans that Pete Carroll said he is going to try and recruit back into their seats. And not have it be a sea of red in case he's in here, or a sea of orange and blue if the Broncos are here, or a dot of powder blue if the Chargers are here because they have like eight fans. So we're trying to get him to the torch so he can do that Raider oath. That is the Oakland Mystique with the Las Vegas Raider way. The mega powers combined. Oh yeah, and then have him light that torch. And yell to the whole strip with that window open, I am a
Raiders fan.
He will be coming on later in the show and to get to our main topic. But before that, Asylum, let's do some news, a little bit of news. Let's hit that CMN intro. Here we go.
This is CMN, a cage match news update.
All right.
Thank you, James Earl Jones.
All right. First one, these might be old, but, we're catching up on our news. First one is a crazy one, kind of like a fun fact. Raiders signed 6'6" wide receiver Colin Johnson. He's considered the tallest wide receiver in the NFL. He played two seasons with the Bears, and he probably compete for a starting job, alongside the other receivers we have, like Besh and Dante, who we drafted, and then also with the likes of Trey Tucker. Myers is set.
Yes, but, he's not going anywhere.
Yes, he's not going anywhere. If you want to look at
6'6", so I mean, come on, put a short defensive guy on him, a short, DB.
Yes,
I mean, jump balls are going to be ridiculous. I mean, 6'6", you think people would be? I hope he don't have hands of stone and shit. Like the guy in Replacements. Faster than shit, but can't catch a cold.
Oh yeah, that was a 7-Up Yours guy. He has career 4 years. He started with the Jacksonville Jaguars, played with the Giants after, and the last 2 years with the Bears. He has played 38 games. 38 games. One of those was a start. At 55 targets, he has 31 receptions, 394 total yards, with a 12.7 average, 2 touchdowns. He's received for 20 first downs. And so he could probably be just a camp guy.
Well, I don't know. You never know. For him, it might not be a 50-50 ball. It might be a 75-25 ball.
Well, can you imagine you have him and the rookie? These two tall guys, one fast guy.
And some poor 5'9" bloke who's got to try to cover him.
Yeah. So
I hope they don't throw the ball high.
Well, all you got to do, what is going on with I got to fix my computer.
Are we getting fined already?
No, no, no. I don't know. I think something someone is trying to log into my other computer. Luckily, I got a second computer that runs the whole show. Goodell, he has the wrong address. New computer, who this? Okay, Goodell. So that is right there. Your tall receiver right there. The next one here. International path player D tackle Lucky Tassi. Sounds like the Laffy Taffy. Has been worked.
Lucky Tassi.
Taki. The Lucky Tassi has been working at offensive guard. Now, initially, he was supposed to be coming in projected as a D tackle, but the former rugby star is now being moved to offensive guard. But there will be competition. You know, you first you have Parham there, you have Meredith there, and then you also have the newly acquired the guy from the Bengals. I just said his name earlier too.
Kappa.
Alex Kappa. So he has moved over. Rob Leonard has said that even though he's moved over there, he still wants him to get some reps at D tackle. He's a big dude. And,
I think it might have something to do with Wilkins, though. If you think about it, if Wilkins comes back, then they'll probably continue working with him on the offensive line part. But if Wilkins doesn't, and this guy, you know, has potential, some talent, whatever you want to call it, he might be, you know, he might be the Travis Hunter, right? But of linemen to play both offense and defense.
For us offensive linemen who have to play defensive linemen, or defensive linemen who have to play offensive linemen in high school, we all know how that is. One side you're at a 3-point, the other side you're at a 4-point. I played defensive end for a little bit. I did the stand-up one. You just rush in and hope to get the quarterback. I got close a few times, but then they say, you know what? We like you at left tackle on the offense. I say that's fine. It is what it is.
I'm fine. That works.
I'm fine. But Lucky Tassi, 6'6", 348
another 6'6".
pounds.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, so we're gonna have a big offensive line.
At 350 pounds though, put him on the offensive side of the ball, kind of makes sense. A big guy, you know that 350 is not, you know, it's balanced well over that 6'6" frame.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a monster to try to move.
And then having that rugby skill, so you know he can move. He has feet, so he can move. You know, get to where he has to get to. Having a pulling guard,
you know, be able to push people around and shit. Yeah, I mean, might be Ashton Genty's new best friend.
and then think about it like this: you have JPJ in the middle. I know. Tassi has to develop because you know he's coming from rugby, like you said, rugby to football. Though there's similarities when it comes to fundamentals and feet work and all that. You know, there has to be some changes in the way he attacks the play, especially on offense. But if he can be a serviceable guard, kind of like our right tackle, DJ Glaze. And just work hard at it, like DJ Glaze. I mean, I know DJ Glaze played longer. You know, he actually played offensive line. But if he can kind of have that success where it's just work, and you get to that point where you can play offensive guard, if you have JPJ and him in the middle,
you know what? Perfect. We got the perfect test, right? You line him up. You put Max Crosby on the other side. If you can keep Max Crosby off of Geno Smith, he's got the job.
We're gonna put him at tackle.
No, guard. Is that where they're putting him on? A guard?
Yeah, guard. But Max Crosby going on. Oh, you said Max Crosby, right?
But it's a 1-on-1 drill, right?
Yeah.
Max Crosby goes inside sometimes, spin move to the inside and shit. If he could just stop Max Crosby, I'm not saying every time because nobody's gonna stop him every time, but if he could be consistent enough, keep him away. You know, the perfect test is Max Crosby right there.
Yeah. Or
maybe even throw Glaze in there and see how well the double team go. You know, I mean, come on. What best test could you go? You know, Max Crosby wants to give him his welcome to the NFL moment.
Yeah.
So, you know,
you got to get a guy. You got to get a guy who has Hold on, I almost said something positive. You got to get a guy who has a lot of mass. Because when you're a guard and you're going against some tackles, you're going against guys who are like his own weight, also 3-something. And it's gonna, you got to have that guard on that man blocking or on that pass blocking where they can stand up a D tackle coming in on that rush. If he can do that to the two rookies that came in, or even
Adam Butler,
a Butler, because if Wilkins can come back sooner, like say going into preseason and just having to get some reps and go against him,
he's supposed to be ready by training camp, is what I heard. If everything's going right, he should be ready for training camp.
And if he can get ready for that, and then have Wilkins go against Tassi, and Tassi can hold his own, but he has to change his number. He can't have a 90s number. It has to be a 70s or 60s, because I don't think an offensive lineman can have a 90s number. I know in high school, a 90s number, even though it's a 90s number, is still considered a receiving number for some reason. But I never saw an offensive lineman in the NFL wear a 90s number. So if he's going to play tackle, it has to be either 50, 60s, or 70s jersey, which I think he's 72 or 79. So he should be good. So yeah, there you go.
He's perfect.
There you go. See how that works?
Look at that. We're setting up that offensive line, aren't we?
Well, okay, wait. Speaking of offensive line, though, okay, we're doing some research on the offensive line. We're going to talk about this next week, talking about Geno Smith in the offense and how this can work, especially with Geno Smith coming in, because, he didn't have a great offensive line in Seattle. But we're reading stuff, and we noticed, and I know Parham wasn't a fan favorite this past season. Meredith, he came in. He had a lot of playing time, but a lot of folks didn't really notice, or Meredith really, which is a good thing. If offensive lineman is not being called upon, like you don't hear his name, that means he's doing good. That's usually the phrase. But Parham was what did I say, 17th? No, I said
I think he said 17.
Parham
one was 5th, one was 5th, and one was 17th. Or 13.
Parham, he was
we'll go in the middle
pretty high. He was ranked pretty high for being for having the inconsistency that he had. So how am I gonna look right now? I'm buying time, buying time. So everyone's like, why is he? Because I'm buying time. Okay. But Meredith. Hold on, just looking it up. Thank you everybody for being patient. 15, another 15. Where is that link at?
18. I just looked it up.
18th overall.
18th out of 136.
So 18th.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's for run blocking. 18th for run blocking. 24th. Overall, according to PFF.
Yeah. Okay. So, in the 14 games for the Raiders at right guard last season, and Pro Football Focus (PFF) 17th highest overall grade at the position. Meredith was 5th highest grade
at center.
They have him at center. He didn't play center. Let's see, but whatever it was a high grade. Especially for how people saw him as a liability on the offensive line. But hey, that could go to Asylum. We talk about where everyone says, hey, well, how come they didn't do a lot of signing any offensive linemen if we had one of the worst offensive line in the league last year? And it could be just one of those things where maybe they saw something and all it took was just some work on on them, getting them their fundamentals better and all that. So it could be that's the reason why they saw something in these players, and they weren't ready to let them go and sign other people. So Maybe that
Well,
could be the case.
what we were talking about earlier is just possibly they were being used wrong.
Yeah.
Parham is not necessarily a power guy. He's more of that what is that, zone blocking?
Yeah.
Where he could pull, he's more of an athletic guy. You want him for what, like better word, moving around, kind of a thing. You want him to, do more. So with what they have going on between what, the run game that, Pete Carroll is going to, push down everyone's throat, and Chip Kelly, who likes to, do all kinds of movement, whether it's, motions or, pull block, blockers having to pull, from their spot and everything else like that. Maybe they just have higher hopes with him, seeing that he's athletic enough to fit in the scheme that they have going on.
Yes. And, with Philbin there, they probably asked him, okay, Frills, which guys do you like here? Which guys can we build an offensive line around with the guys we have left? And he probably told him, like, hey, before I officially 100% took over in the middle of the season, these guys were all over the place, and it wasn't because of them. It was because of the offensive scheme, the offensive line coach previously that got let go with the offensive coordinator.
I was going to say, and the offensive coordinator who couldn't seem to fucking draw a play if his life depended on it.
Yeah, so who knows? We'll see when training camp comes along and the stories come out more, and of course when preseason starts, and preseason will be. I'm in the video section. Preseason, the first game will be August 7th in Seattle.
Seattle.
Homecoming.
A night game, too.
Yes. And hopefully, I want to try to be there. In
Seattle?
In Seattle, yes. Throwing fish across that restaurant, or not the restaurant, but that fish market, and then going in there. I don't know. They always show that. So, anyway. And the last one. This is more of a congratulations. Wide receiver DJ Turner and wife announced pregnancy of third child on Instagram. That was announced last week. Currently, I don't believe he's on any team right now. The Raiders did not renew his contract. He's still out there, but his last team was the Raiders. And this is another, a congratulations to DJ Turner. And what's the phrase, Asylum?
Once a Raider, always a Raider, unless you're Derek Carr.
For half the folks.
Just kidding. It's once a Raider, always a Raider.
All right. Congratulations, DJ Turner. And hope you have that full recovery, because he did have that injury last year. So hope you're fully recovered. And then whatever you do, hope everything goes well. And future, eventually welcome your third child into the world. Child is a Raider.
Hopefully it's healthy.
Raider. Yes. So
all you could ask for.
All right. Without further ado, let's bring in the man of the hour, the man himself, the man of the oath.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's not. the man of the oath. Let's bring in the man himself, RaiderMan, and I have a different intro for him. So here we go. RaiderMan right here.
We look at the Raiders as real. That's real life. Stuff leaves, stuff dies, stuff moves, stuff changes. We don't. That's Raider Nation.
Ooh. Is that conceited when you give yourself goosebumps? Is that a little bit narcissistic?
Who cares? We're Raiders fans.
What is up? What is up? The RaiderMan himself, RaiderMan19. Let me do this right here. Oh, did it play? Oh, I was trying to do it. There it goes. The applause. One more time.
I love it.
All right. How are you doing? How are you doing, RaiderMan?
Man, God is good and completely in control. You already know how I roll, man. It's been a beautiful day. You know what? It's been so good a day. First of all, you got to be alive to do it, right? You got to be in the place to be able to have a place to be. But the things that I've been able to see and touch today are a huge beacon toward like where we headed in this near future. You know, as us as family, man, I called and did a few little teasers, stuff like that. But I feel if I had to pick one word, maybe electric, something like that. I kind of hate that word because it's almost an allusion to them damn dildos over there. I shouldn't have said it like that. The powder blues, cream puffs over there or whatever. But you know, man, we large and in charge right now, man. I'm feeling my oats. Hey, I appreciate you guys waiting on me, man. I had to shout out a few of the brothers, man, just in case. I already know Rebello in the chat. Shouts out Bobby Rebello, OG Black Hole. Shouts out Darth Maldo. I hope you get a chance to tap in. Shouts out the Black Hole bartender Danny, my president, East Bay chapter of Black Hole. And you know, I'm the vice president. I gotta do a shameless plug. Y'all, I missed the segment, but I won't miss my opportunity. And you know, just hoping that some of the Black Holers pop on here, man, so we can share some of that Raider love. It's Father's Day month, and we used to take this time to huddle up and love on each other and throw our barbs and jabs and half-ass racial jokes when they used to be alive to say. And I just miss the closeness, man. I miss being able to just love on each other.
Yeah, and you know, I was telling you earlier, we finally have a time of the year, and maybe a coach that has brought stability with Pete Carroll, where we can do a show like this and not have to keep, you know, doing like new news and who is this guy and who is that guy. It's quiet right now within the Raiders. So now we can kind of focus on Raider Nation and you being an OG from the, you know, D-Lot over there at the Coliseum, 1995, all the way on until when the Raiders moved. In 2019, 2019, I almost said 1919, 2019.
That year.
Yeah, so well, first I wanted to ask, because I know people probably want to know, and I don't know if you told it, you probably told the story already. First of all, the Raider Oath. How did the Raider Oath come about? Because we use that as our national anthem on the show. That is basically the national anthem that you have instilled onto Black Hole and everything. We use it on our show as our national anthem. We salute to it. We want to get you on the torch to do that in front of everybody and light the torch up. Get the whole get the squad. I'm gonna say the squad too, but get the whole stadium fired up. How did the Raider Oath? How did Raider Man come up with the Raider Oath that we play now and the show and everything?
Man, big shouts out to you guys, and shouts out to another special guy out there, Raider Homer. I know he used to always fly the oath at the top of his shows. Hopefully he's doing well. I ain't been in touch with my brother in a minute, but you know, the Raider Oath, it was an inspiration that was requested of me. It started off with Raider Rob, you know, our illustrious original bullhorn. I guess that's the one who donned the bullhorn tag on me when he brought me to introduce me to Black Hole Rob and got me into the Black Hole. Uncle Stoner dude, he and his guys were putting together a band, Raider Head Till I'm Dead. They were putting out an album. Some wonderful music. I'm still doing my best to keep Raider Head in circulation to this day. But you know, they wanted a preamble for the album. And I was honored to be asked to literally concoct something. Like, Raider Man, you think you can come up with something? Because, you know, everybody gonna always fly for Cinder. John Facenda, that's gonna always be the king. You know what I mean? The Raider Oath was written as a, how do you say it? An addendum, if you will, an add-on, a supplement to the Autumn Wind, something to bring our Raider fandom, our Raider Nation, the Black Hole, and who we were becoming into the new age, because the Autumn Wind had held it down for so long, but the team wasn't holding it down the same way. And we needed a way as the next generation of Raider Nation to be able to fly our colors and wear our thing proud, you know, to not be the copycats. That's never who we've been. Unfortunately, where, you know, society and Raider Nation has gone over the last couple of decades, but it used to be all about original ideas and everybody coming to the table with their influence, with their spirit, with their I don't know. I don't even really know what else to play. Get in where you fit in. And that's where Raider Man fit in. You know, it was something about the way I talk, something about the way I carried myself, and I was honored to be asked. We literally were just all in the room together I wrote it out at first. Initially, it was way too long. I wrote it in the ilk of course, I was thinking of Facinda when I wrote it. I did it a cappella. I did it with no sound. And then I was thinking of the Pledge of Allegiance because, and I'm not going to go political and all the rest of that kind of stuff, but as, let's just say it, as a chocolatito, as a black man here in America, you know, that's proud to be an American, born and raised here, serve here, not serve as far as military. God bless our soldiers out there and the people that create our free rights of speech and everything else. But, you know, I'm proud to be here. And I wanted our Raider fans, I wanted the next generation to be able to have something that they can hold on to and would never, ever waver in the allegiance to those colors, to that silver and black. And the Pledge of Allegiance in my mind was always such a beautifully written piece. You know, you can get a little patriotic behind it, you know, naturally or whatnot. People pick and choose their own battles, but we here. And that's just my spirit. Where you are, that's where your home is, and you always defend home. So, you know, the Raider Oath was a privilege for me to be able to concoct, to write, wrote it from the heart, and shared it on the, you know, in the midst of the gang. Stoner dude took that thing immediately, kicked me out the room. I think Raider Rob and a couple others, we took a walk and we had a smoke break, if you will, and come back, and it was literally like almost akin to the feeling when Black Hole Rob and the gang finally got that name, the Black Hole. You know, you throw a bunch of ideas around, you got a bunch of creativity just floating in the air, but when it happens, you know. And I was blessed. I was blessed to be able to write the Raider Oath. Almost 30 years later, because myself, you know, when the Black Hole was initiated in 95, the team came back on September 3rd. I was there for that game. I met a lot of the guys. I was introduced to a lot of the guys, but I wasn't adopted by the Black Hole officially until 98. So as we were literally going into our winning ways, as we were starting to take our transition into the team that we were to become, the Raider Oath, it just had a perfect fit. It was timing was everything, and hopefully we can get that thing at the pinnacle. I really appreciate you guys keep pushing it to be at the torch. Wish we had more influence on that, but I get you. I bet you they start seeing us now because we coming, regardless of what they think, we coming.
Yeah, you know, I want to talk about how that Oakland vibe, I don't really like that word vibe, but how that Oakland influence, you know, shaped what it is now, Raider Nation, that you was talking about, Raider Rob Howard, who coined that phrase first.
Yes.
I know he's on this battle trying to reclaim that himself. He coined that first. And then, you know, Asylum, Asylum, he was what 17 years? The last 17 years, part of the Black Hole over there in D-Lot, you know, was always out there. I was there in the beginning from 95 up until like the Super Bowl year 2002, and then I kind of like was here, you know, here and there.
Life happens, man. Life happens.
Yeah. So Asylum, those last almost 20 years that you know were there, what is your take on Oakland and that whole experience that we got to experience, all three of us got to experience, being over there at the Oakland Coliseum, and especially more so in the parking lot?
Well, I mean, for me, Oakland's always Mecca. It's always going to be Mecca when it comes to the Raiders. There's no other word for it. I mean, they started the Oakland Raiders. They'll always be the Oakland Raiders, you know, in our hearts. I mean, in Oakland, you know, in that parking lot is where Asylum was born, is where I brought him out in 2014. Yeah, well, damn, 11 years now. Jesus Christ. Anyways, been a while. Yeah, brought him out.
Creativity ages.
You know, brought him out in 2014. You know, I mean, to be honest with you, what was it? 2009 is when I started all that journey to become Asylum, because it took the 5 years of creating that persona that, you know, I mean, we all know you go to Raider Nation, when it comes to being a super fan, it is hard to find an original idea, an original look, because every time you think you have one, bam, you see somebody else doing it. And you walk that parking lot, you see all kinds of different creative fans and the way they want to support the team and go. So I mean, it was a hell of a journey just to do that and to be able to debut in the Black Hole in Oakland, do all that. I mean, to me, my only word for it is it's Mecca. It's home. It's church. It's, the only place that you could go on a Sunday and have no cares in the world. You're there with family. You're there to have a good time, win, lose, or tie. A Raiders fan till I die.
Yeah. Now, it is the true trek to Mecca. And if you guys recall, back in the days of Raider Fan Magazine, shouts out Tim Del Rosario. That's the guy who literally brought me in. He introduced me to Raider Rob. And Rob literally took me around and introduced me to everybody else. Rob inducted me quick. I call it recruiting. And, when you speak to Sab, when you say, how does Oakland shape that for us? That's literally the thing. Asylum touched on it as far as it being our home, being the Mecca, being the word I choose to use is identity. And I believe that's exactly what the city is suffering from since the Raiders have left is a identity crisis. And it's really, really sad to leave the next generation of anything uncovered like that. But the next generation of Raider Nation should never be abandoned like that. But that's exactly what it was, that spirit of, Oakland has always kind of been given this kind of backhanded slap, like the little redhead stepchild of San Francisco and the surrounding cities in this Bay Area. But any and everybody honestly knows that Oakland is truly the heart. And the concentrated part of that heart, it comes right here from Richmond, California. I'm happy to say that. That's where I'm from. But Oakland is that space that creates an identity of that show me spirit. There's so much talent in Oakland. There's so much like intellectual prowess in Oakland. There's also a lot of money in Oakland, even though you wouldn't know that by the damn municipality. But the people in Oakland, the nature of the people, the genesis, that spirit,
and that's what the football team took after, though. If you think about it, it was the blue collar workers. They were the blue collar players.
Come on,
you had
man.
The blue collar workers, the blue collar fans. When you go to Oakland, it wasn't like San Francisco, the button up shirts, the white, all that. No, this was the blue collar.
Always laugh, wine and cheese and all the rest of that crap. But they always threw off on us like we were nothing, like we were second class citizens. But when we started this thing, especially when RaiderMan started to get a little bit of prominence, my first question to any I almost got loose, any 49er fan is, tell me, what did you do before we had two? Because we had two before you knew what to do. And you consider that, like the gifts that we gave them, King Al, I don't know all of the ins and outs of the deals, but to know that they would have never had Bill Walsh if it wasn't for King Al, to know that they would have never had Eddie DeBarlow if it wasn't for King Al. There's so many other factors that can really be thrown in to, play the tit for tat. But this ain't about dozens. This is the people of these surrounding cities deserve A1 product. And Oakland in itself was a 3-tiered champion city. As small as they like to claim that it is, it's low, they don't have the money and everything. Well, King Al was working on that. They did everything they could to chop his legs out from under him. They sucked all his damn finances out of the man with the court fights and all the rest of that kind of crap, just trying to fight for what he knew that he deserved. An opportunity the same as everybody else in the league. My team ain't no more fledgling than y'all's. In fact, I think we better than y'all. And on the field, we're going to kick your ass too. And he was right. So they chose to hate us for that. And it's sad because it seems like they try to take it out on us fans. King Al not even here no more. But there's still that thing. There's still the Raider way. And that's exactly what makes us Oakland. No matter where we go. Yeah, we in Vegas now. But anybody that live in California know the most valuable MFs is the multi-property owners. And nobody does it better.
Well, we own a lot of property, Las Vegas, LA, Oakland. I mean,
yeah. Don't leave out Oxnard, Roanoke Park, East Palo Alto. We own all
Napa.
that, man. I didn't know it.
We own Napa.
The with the black hole back in the day, the black hole. I have the video because talking about inspiring people and everything. I have the video of when you did the oath to the child that was on the Make-A-Wish on that Monday Night Football game.
Whoa.
So
really.
So Gorilla Violator, Senor, been making a special for him. And the rest of you guys that bought some gifts for this young man. Again, he's going through a very difficult time right now. But what we would like to do at this moment is we would like to make Elijah an official honorary member of the Black Hole. So this is for you, young man. Righty?
Hope. But for our fans,
You're not always right, man. You the dad? Yeah. Now, like I was saying, the doctors and human, man, they make these
7-year anniversary on the 19th. I wouldn't miss this.
I had it.
Absolutely.
Raider Nation.
And then I gave him the
Championships. First won by legends. Ken Stabler.
Outstanding.
Phil Villapiano. Marcus Allen. Lyle Zato. All the veterans. Willie Brown. This belt is for champions. I'm going to give this belt to Elijah.
Champion!
He's going to be a champion too.
Yes, indeed. You got this. Come on.
76, 80, 83, and 27.
Outstanding, Macho.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is the champion right here. Oh, yeah. This belt, you're a champion right here. Raider Nation. This is how we do it right here. Oh, yeah. With the mega powers combined right here. We're going to do everything right here. Get that W for tonight and get that W for Elijah. Oh, yeah, Raider Nation. Dig it.
Raider. Yeah, I had the voice back then. I skipped over the.
Righty?
I thought
I'd
I
like
had.
to make Elijah an official young man.
Okay, I think I had two videos, and I put the one of Rob Rivera doing the making him an honorary Black Hole member. That was the game against the Monday night game against the Cowboys. The famous
index card game.
The index card game. So there is a video of you doing the oath for him, and I thought that's the one I had. I guess I had the wrong one. But
you only had one job.
My job has many layers. But
Hey,
you
at least
see,
I was in the video. That helps.
yeah. So
I
mean,
wasn't.
you see the
But my belt was that was my belt though. I'm gonna
Yes.
straighten that down.
I'm not sure if you're trying to scrounge and pull that clip or not, but I want to say this because you tapped over really, really quick. And it goes back to our, and much respect due to Black Hole Rob, much respect due to Black Hole Dave Monzo. Not many people really make sure that Dave stays in the spot where he belongs. Rob and Dave were like the left hand, right hand, the 1-2 punch in the beginning of this thing. And not many people truly understand how this family works. And that's a huge issue for me because, just like King Al said, man, the greatness of the Raiders is in its future. And the greatness of Raider Nation is exactly that. It's our future. And the next generation of Raider Nation deserves to know its history. And its history is being wiped away because there's a lot of people, no names needed. I mean, we don't even know who they are, but there's so many people that's looking and grabbing to I guess, kind of own what they feel like they're a part of. And the Black Hole Raider Nation in itself is an organic entity. You know, it came about through love, sweat, and tears. So money has never been the issue until now. And so, like, to circle back to what an influence like Rob X has, and I say has because that king is still here. He's gone through so much to create this energy that we're all able to share. And most of the next generation, most of this now generation of Raider Nation never even heard the Raider Oath, the Raider Nation call. The Raider Nation call is another one of those factors that created the inspiration for the Raider Oath. Because out of inspiration, we all had to have our own thing. It wasn't a copycat thing. Nobody, I mean, we literally abhorred. If I came with something that even looked like yours, you know, you might put a little rip in it, or, you know, mark it up with a Sharpie or something. You do something to desecrate it so it's not exactly a rip off of somebody else. And
that's what I was talking about for the 5 years. Like I said, the 5 years of coming up with Asylum. I know Savage's, you know, thing. You know, it was that one thing. Like you said, you get an idea, the call, as you call it, and then you see something else, and you're kind of like, okay, I don't want to step on, not even stepping on toes. Because most of the time, except for a few bad apples, most people accept it. Oh, that's okay. You know, go ahead, you know, just have a different name or something else like that. It takes, you know, to be different. Raider Nation is so huge when it comes to everything that it is hard to have that individuality in Raider Nation without trying to go and you know, just be called a copycat. Somebody did it first. This, that, you know, I mean, it's really hard, and there's a lot of originality in Raider Nation, and people who get that call who want to come. There's a lot of people who all it took was a single game to come to fall in love with, you know, with Raiders, the Raiders, Raider Nation itself. Everyone always talked about how bad it was. Oh, you can't go there. You can't do this. You know, we welcomed everybody.
Yeah.
We would have the other teams, fans, eating with us. We'd be making sure they had drink, food, whatever, welcoming. All you got to do is be able to take some shit talking.
Yep. Yeah. And you're going to get that.
Exactly. We're going to talk our shit. You're going to talk your shit. But we welcomed everybody with open arms.
But I tell you, it was another level of that as well. Because, like, literally going back on the Raider Rob thing, we used to literally, and shouts out Delmar, man. I ain't said the name Black Hole Delmar in ages. But that was my road dog. I mean, literally, Black Hole Delmar, when I first joined the Black Hole, I remember Black Hole Rob had this old shirt. It was all ripped up and all the rest of that stuff. It was one of the original House of Pain Black Hole shirts. And that was my first Black Hole shirt. Took it off his back. I put the shirt on. Me and Delmar used to walk the parking lots in the mornings. I'd come over, whatever. And you know, this was before RaiderMan was even Beer Man. All this stuff, all these rich memories that we had. And they were all together. These were all us leaning on each other. So not to skip over Raider Rob's influence, but Raider Rob to push Raider Nation, we will literally walk every single freaking square inch of that parking lot. D, A, B, C, corner to corner, tailgate to tailgate. When we used to come up over the I forget what they call it, the causeway or whatever, we used to go past the window ticket to get your tickets and whatnot, past the little A side. Yeah. And he'd be just screaming, Raider Nation. And people never even heard that before. But literally, that's where I got, you know, like kind of the inspiration to start using Raiders, literally our name, as sound. Because in those days, I had like a fog whistle or some crazy thing that they gave me. I had this deep fog whistle. I used to blow it, and it was loud as hell. I used to blow out eardrums with that thing. But when they started cracking down on us around 2000, after the situations, when they took the dummy from us, when they started taking all of our props and all the rest of that stuff and started trying to single us out, try to separate us in the parking lot, make us change up the parking dynamics so we couldn't tailgate the same. We've been through so much. And every single bit of it, unfortunately for me, it feels, the only word I know how to call it is appropriation. Because look at us now. 30 years later, here you got your friendly neighborhood Raider man. The one fan that everybody knows that's never been painted up. I mean, of course, I used to smash some paint on my face and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, the heart of what we were doing didn't come from our beloved people they're trying to make caricatures out of. And I did my best to make that plain when I went to, I think it was Raider Nation Explosion 3. Shouts out my boss and his family over there in Middle America, California. But, you know, just like to come in and rip a family apart. And, you know, like people buy up pieces of certain things and, you know, now it's a business for them and they try to propagate it the way that they propagate it. But if you don't have the entities that created it, exactly what are you doing? What's the goal? What's going to be the outcome? And I say this as a caution because each of us as Raider Nation alive, thank God, as we live and breathe in this moment right now, we have an opportunity to create the change that we need to create the change back to who we were. And this is the perfect time. It's the 30th year of the inception of the black hole. You know, when all these spirits got together, this was a complete anomaly because you got people coming from Oakland, Richmond, like myself, San Leandro, San Lorenzo, Hayward, you know, different nationalities. And I'm talking about we used to get together and charge on it. We call it charging. It wasn't no playing the dozens. We was charging on each other. Some of the most vulgar, you know, jokes, but we kept it on that line of respect. But it was really a way of reaching out to people that you like. Rob used to have this beautiful thing he used to say, you know, Rob wasn't the most eloquent guy, but he had this beautiful thing he would say that where else in the world are you going to get a Puerto Rican, a Chicano, a brother? You know, he always say that, a brother, you know, a Chinese dude, a Korean dude, you know, men, women. And of course, you know, we got our ancillary, our periphery Raider Nation. You know, our what they call it, alternative living Raider Nation. We got Raider Nation that covers the gambit. We are everything. We touch everything. We literally are a microcosm of what this society wants to be. And whoever it is, these so-called new powers that be are screwing it up, trying to covet that energy for themselves. It don't belong to you. You didn't make us. You can't break us. And the best thing you do is get along because we coming. And this train's coming down the track so fast right now. We got brand new energy as of today. And I'm going to do everything that's within my power to make sure that people know what the original black hole was all about. You know?
Yeah.
So I need that. I need that energy. You know, Sab, I already hit you up. We had a little short talks or whatnot, text and everything. But I encourage you, man, hold space. Because, you know, may not be on the level with the sponsorships and all the rest of that kind of stuff. But if they don't realize that we the real shit, then they the big Dubbies.
That's why I
sneak that shameless plug in there.
Dubby. That's why I made this shirt. Original black hole, you know, with the NWO. I'm gonna say NWA with the NWO.
Hey, but you know, it goes even further because there's so many of us. And you know, shouts out to Darth Maldo. You know, Maldo does a lot of things, you know, keeping the brand going. But unfortunately, the way things were set up business-wise, there's a lot of red tape apparently. I'm not really privy to what all that red tape is. RaiderMan's being himself. I've never been in this about money. But now there's a time. There's a time where we all need to kind of circle the wagons, if you will, and reinstitute this proposal of family. Because there's another, I said this 30 years ago. Money was here when we got here. Money gonna be here when we die. That's literally all of us. None of us in control of it. All of us grabbing for what we can get. The minute that we realize that we better together, Raider Nation is completely off the freaking hook. And it's sad because what's happening over these last, I don't know, however many years, and God bless us, since Rob's been gone, and particularly, you know, there's that same kind of identity crisis that Oakland's suffering with the teams, these championship teams being removed from their presence. You know, what does this civilization do around you when the next generation has no idea what to do? When you get that feeling that you don't know what's next, that's uncertainty, that then the natural feeling that change is bad enough on us as human beings in itself. But when you've created something, when you're literally a living, breathing part of something, and none of us are guaranteed a single day. So now we're watching our family get what they called old, and we're dying off. Where's the appreciation? Where's the honor? You know, somebody got to step up the game. Somebody got to, get their ass off their shoulders and realize this thing got to be better. I've been in works with some of the people, I'm not going to throw out no names because it's unnecessary, but it's people that's reached out to me, and I worked in endeavors to uphold our black hole and to keep propagating that spirit and to keep the growth alive and to keep doing things that we can do to push our brand forward. But it has to become more inclusive. We have to learn how to communicate with each other and treat each other like human beings and not props and caricatures and painted face idiots in costumes, because that's not who we are. And that's exactly what the media came in to break us up and pull us apart for. And the minute that people started buying into that, thinking that it would make them monetarily significant, it started to kill the spirit of our true family. So I'm hoping that somebody's paying attention to what the hell is going on, because reverse ain't nothing but a couple of stops away. We can back this thing up and get going in the right direction again.
I mean, think about it. Half these people who are dressing up, doing all this, putting on their war paint, everything. We're talking about teachers, doctors, people that you would not even think, when they see it. I mean, you got, construction workers dressing up in shoulder pads and all this, and they're the quietest guy at work, or whatnot.
Lawyers, doctors, pastors. we got a lot of people dressing up in Raider Nation.
And going and everything. If we've lost anything, that's the identity I think we've lost as Raider Nation. It's gone to the singular, and I won't say names, but there's, like you said, there's some people out there who are only about the monetary, think they can make a buck off of doing this stuff, trying to be, as we use Raider famous. To do this shit, and it's not what it's about. It's not why I started doing it. Right. I did it to show the love of my team. I do Asylum. I walk around in a straight jacket and a cage. And by the way, it's a real straight jacket. Why do I do that? And yes, why? My answer was always, they call Raider fans crazy, right? Well, I'll show you crazy.
I'll show you crazy. See,
I'll show you crazy. I mean, but it's the fun. I don't do it for myself. I do it to make the experience that I'm at, whatever I'm at, whether it's, explosion, tailgates, whatever. I'm just trying to be better for other people. I'm having fun. I enjoy going out. I honestly hate taking pictures. But when I don Asylum, he loves taking pictures. He's, music videos, all that stuff. No, we don't do it for that or to get recognized. We're just trying to have fun. We want those kids to come up and want to take that picture, or people saying, they tell a story 5 years, 10 years down the road about how much they had great time at the tailgate before the game going, how they met this person, and got to take pictures and go to their phones to show it up. That's why we do it. It's that experience right there, because you can't gain. Once that's gone, it's gone for good.
And then think about this. Not only has the team been uprooted and snatched away from us again, I mean, we're all old enough to have this team taken from us twice in one lifetime. And so it's like, when you dig back on the reality of what that does to the human psyche, I mean, none of us are psychologists on this line, but,
I took one semester of psychology. I feel like I am certified enough to diagnose anybody.
What was your grade?
I had a C+.
C+.
Well, you passed. You passed. You were qualified. You get to drive the van.
Yes, I get to prescribe. No.
You get to drive the van.
You get.
But it's like, and I don't know any other way to say this, but when the black hole started, when Raider Nation was just like idea. Literally, when Rob started talking about the ideas of Raider Nation and what he wanted to do and what his vision was for what he thought Raider Nation could be, there were no owners. There were nobody that considered themselves a boss. Money wasn't even like it wasn't a real factor. We were all pooling what few pennies that we had together, those of us that had pennies to throw into the pot, just to make what we were doing go. And just like anything else in life, once you start involving money into stuff, once things start turning from the backyard cookout, what we call, tailgate party in the dungeon, and then all of a sudden, whoever was kicking in $20, and now we need $100 because the party's gotten bigger, and this person lost his job, and this person, don't have a car, and this person's over here, but everybody was doing what they could to mix and match and fill in those gaps. So there was never a power struggle. Nobody ever looked at one person as you're down on this or you couldn't do it. Hell, shit, Savage, he was just a kid. Go put some damn gas in the damn generator. Figure out you can fit in. There's something that you can do. But this party has to go on. Shouts out Ray Molinar. I don't want to put people governing this out there, but everybody know who Ray is. Ray was the first truck. Hauling stuff back and forth to the hole. You know what I mean? It's like greeting people in. I mean, treating me like a person. I'm out there basically bumming. I didn't have nothing. I was sneaking in the game. Every game, your friendly neighborhood Raider man, so-called famous and all this so-called celebrity, all this crap, I was sneaking into every game. That's how everybody in security knew me. And that's what made it easy for Black Hole Rob to approach Jackson and Dixon. And he was like, hey, look, he's with us now, man. We don't want no shit out of you. You leave him alone.
and I did the same thing, too, as a kid. My mom knew some people from high school, who worked at the Coliseum. And they would get me in, and my story is gonna go from what you were talking about, like the tailgates and all that, and the people who was involved. I felt like I had two lives when it comes to Raider Nation. I had when I was younger, I was there at the beginning of the Black Hole, and I don't talk about it a lot because only the real ones who know, and I'm not out here trying to, because there's a propaganda, whatever. I'm not gonna get into all that. But I never came in when I talk about the original Black Hole. I never came in to try to diss one person to bring up another. I am just trying to tell the actual history, And like you said, Raider Dave, who was the main factor that kind of brought everyone together, because he held a lot of the watch parties, the away games, the watch parties were at his house, where it started in Hayward, California. They were at his house,
his parents' house.
Yeah, in his parents' house. So they had the back room, and if you know, you had the Budweiser, all the Budweiser cases, the cardboard cases that was stapled onto the ceiling. That was the decoration right there, and all this memorabilia, and all these Raider articles and magazines and clippings and everything, Raider helmets. And
that was great product placement.
Yes, and you had the jerseys and everything. So that was how the Black Hole started. If you were late to the watch party, you ended up in the pool in the backyard. They had the stand-up pool, the 3 feet, the stand-up pool that you had to dive in. My dad dived in a lot of that because he was always late, and we lived 2 blocks away from Dave. We walk over to the house for those Monday night games. But that's where it all started. And then of course the Black Hole, they would do the softball tournaments at Weeks Park, which was around the corner from Dave's house.
Run Jones, man.
Run.
I met Gruden out there. Dude, Gruden doing powerlifting nowadays. I got a picture when Deuce was about a year and a half old.
Yeah, and the one thing that doesn't really get talked about when it comes to the history of the Black Hole back in 96, 97, 98 up until I'll say 2000, 2001 really was the first band that was there. My dad had the band, and I have this clip right here that I wanted to play of when you were talking about Raider Homer being on Raider Homer's podcast with Black Hole Rob, my mom's cousin, Rob Rivera. So second cousin of removed, or however it goes. Where'd it go? Black Hole tailgate. Make a wish. Where'd it go? Oh no, I got it. That's right here. Okay,
you gonna pull up the clip of me doing the Raider Oath this time. Watch.
Oh, I had that one too. There was I guess I didn't upload it yet.
Doing a great job, bro.
Thank you. Trying to do all this on the fly. That's right here. Hold on. But no, so I felt like I had 2 lives. I was a kid growing up, and like you said, filling up the gasoline into the projector, into the generator. And okay, I find it right here. And then, so that was my job, was when the band was playing, or my dad's band was playing, I had to make sure that I put gas in there so the music don't come off. But here is Black Hole Rob. When you were on the podcast on Raider Homer Show with Black Hole Rob talking about the band, and then I have a clip after that. So it's processing right now. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading.
It's loading.
It's loading.
It's loading.
Hold on. It's loading. It's almost there. There it goes.
Thought bubbles with the little circle with the little lips going around.
No, okay. That's right here. Right here.
You know, we had a band out in the parking lot back in the day. Oh, people, yeah. You remember that, man? We used to have a low-down band in the parking lot. We would just sneak a band in, bro. I mean, they had rules and regulations. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. We was like, F the rules, man. We're bringing a band. So we just would roll up, set up the band before anybody could shut us down. Next thing you know, it's a parking lot wide party.
Amen to that, man. You know, now you're talking about the Lowdown band, right? That's Savage's dad's band, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Raider man. Yeah, so Savage is my cousin, man, and yeah, his mom is my cousin, and Sal was, you know, her husband, and yeah, he had a band, man, and they used to practice in their house and get down, and then we'd bring the band out to the tailgate. Yeah, so the Lowdown band goes way back. Sal goes way back to the early days with us.
And for everyone out there who wants to know what that looked like, I do have that video, and it is uploaded, okay, so whatever. Let's take you back in time. January 14th, 2001. This is an AFC Championship game versus the Ravens. Of course, we know what happened. It's not about the end of the game because we know what happened. It's about the beginning and how it looked like at the tailgate party, the original Black Hole tailgate party. It looked like what'd you say, like Raider Woodstock? All these people.
You know the irony of that timing? That was right after I got shot. And I remember being there that day. I was so weak. That was the day they was calling me the ghost of Raider Man. That's crazy.
This is truly also when they were celebrating Raider Dave Monzo's birthday. So you'll see Raider Rob Howard on the mic, and you'll see Raider Dave.
Is Raider Rob in the house? Where's Raider Rob at?
Taking you back in time in the glimpse of how it looked. I gotta find more tapes.
You got some VHS I need to break out. I might need your help transferring some stuff. I got a lot of stuff.
Hey, there's a lot of places you can send it to, and they can digitize it for you and put it on a drive.
I got that newsreel when I took Mike Sugarman with Channel 5 into the Black Hole for the first time. When I did the Red Holes at Ricky's for the first time. Look at Dave.
Ricky, that's another place that's never going to be the same. And
yeah, Ricky's, yeah.
Yeah, Ricky's. If you know, you know. The original Ricky's.
If you know, you know.
No, you know. And if you don't, you never get a chance.
A home.
It's not the same.
And if you know,
talk about the old school, you mentioned the style. You were talking about the Mecca, the trek to Mecca at the Oakland Airport Hilton's. Oh my God, those were the days.
Hilton's closed down too, and that's when my dad would play music on that Friday and Saturday night before the game. Mm-hmm. So you see, like you said, Run Jones be out there at the bar with his 3 rings. And he got some young 20-something. He was like in the 70s, and he got some young 20-something-year-old on his arm.
Yeah, Run. Marv Hubbard used to pass through. Big Double O. He used to be with Marv a lot of times. He used to bump into them in the business mixes and stuff like that when Raider Fan Magazine was pushing. We used to go up there. Raymond Chester used to let us use 98 golf links up there at this golf course to do our business mixes.
Raymond Chester and Jack Tatum were always over there.
Yeah, that's right there in the parking lot. Jack Tatum's RV.
Mm-hmm. So this is going back. This was 2001. This is what a Black Hole tailgate looked like back then. So this is where it all started. The original Black Hole. You got the Black Hole sweaters that I don't even know if they still have like newer versions of that. but they had jackets, they had sweaters. I have a couple shirts that I still kept. They're all faded, and they're all faded, right?
All of our stuff is all sun beat to death. Sun beat and moth riddle.
So this is what it looked like.
Uniforms, man. That's back when, and that's like I did my best to establish for the world. Stop calling our people that come out there in their garb. That's not like paint. It's not costume. It's a uniform.
Yeah.
Anything that you come to on a regular basis, in a regular schedule, and you wearing the same garb, they call it a uniform in every other capacity. But they want to make caricatures out of us. They want to make us into these clowns, and I just don't appreciate that.
Yeah. And see, like there was, like you were talking about, there was a party, not just like we're partying, drinking, like there was an actual party. Look at all those people there. An actual party where they were there, and at the time, the original Black Hole where they were positioned, or where they set up at, was right there, right next to the players' parking lot, where all the players would go in, right there, right between the Coliseum and the arena, and that's where all the news guys would be at. They hear this band and they turn the cameras around, like, what's going over here? You never saw a live band inside of a parking lot like this. So this became a ritual.
Down.
Yeah.
Everybody party. And see, these are those great days too, because there's another highly unfortunate issue that I'm hearing more and more around up in Raider Nation. There was no racism back then. There was nothing about demographics and all the rest of that kind of crap. That was what we used to call a confluence of humanity. That's what we thrived on.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was all family. And, it was like, hey, just come over to the tailgate. We got you. I can meet people at the BART station. They were like, oh, just come to the tailgate. We got you. Okay, where you at? I'm in lot A. All right. Where you at? Oh, I'm in lot C. Oh, okay. I'm right on the other side, opposite of the Black Hole. So I'm on the other side on the 80 side. Okay, I'll be over there. We turn it back. There was no who are you? What are you doing here? Even if you had the other jersey on, it was like, okay, you talk mess, but it was never malicious. It was like, hey,
how real you were. If you were a real fan, you can come on in. But if you're coming in there as a poser or talking shit, you're going to get treated like that.
Yeah.
But the other thing, too, that they really, really lost, and it's so disappointing to me because this feels selfish to say, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it how I feel it. Your friendly neighborhood is a lot. And for 30 years, well, let's call it for 20 years, because there's been a lot of time where, like you said, life take over. You're not out there. I can't be there for every freaking game. I don't have the silver spoon like a lot of other people. I don't have pension plan. I don't have pass down tickets. I didn't have that. So there was a lot of time that RaiderMan couldn't be at the game. Yet and still, brothers like Stoner Dude, Dino Mutt, Raider Rob, even Black Hole Rob, making space for the Raider Oath to be done. To have people that come into the next generation of Raider Nation know what that Raider Oath is, know it, live it, love it. It's our credo. And now they're doing that for whoever they are, and I'm hoping whoever that is that fits this affiliation, I hope it burns your skin like battery acid. But whoever it is that feel like they can get in the middle of that, a monetary basis, and just take over that, you got to be sticking their head. Yeah. The Raider Oath should be introduced to each and every single Raider fan that ever comes with a bigger shower and initiation to boot. And that's exactly what we're bringing back.
Yeah. And we got Douglas Sinclair is in the comments talking mess. Now, Douglas Sinclair is a Niner fan. And, Niner fans can't do none of this because the city of San Francisco, it's like Daly City, San Francisco, in that area, whatever. You weren't allowed to do anything like that. You need a special pass to get inside their stadium to do anything like that.
Came over there in their parking lot and did it for them over there in Candlecraft.
I was going to say, Raiderhead went over there and infiltrated and brought their band playing Niner Hater on their soil.
RaiderMan did the Raider Oath in Candlecraft parking lot a few hundred times.
Yeah. So, Niner fans can't do this. Niner fans, I don't know, they'll probably be playing, I don't know.
There's my song right there. That's Niner Hater.
Just for Douglas.
Let's go, baby. Fired up, playing it live. They'll never have that.
I know, Raider Man. I know you've seen these shows before.
I am on Raider. One thing that I can't stand, and that's the
Hold on, right here. Wait. I want to show you something. Show you some history before the beard. Before the beard.
Oh yeah.
Right there at age 15. That's me
Young
right there,
baby
age
face.
15.
Wow, you could barely grow anything. It comes in all patchy and shit.
Mustache was extra fluffy. Like a puppy fresh out the bathtub.
I had my headphones ready. If I get into the game, I can listen to Greg Papa and Tom Flores on the radio. I had it ready. If I get in, I didn't get into this game, this championship game. That's hard to get into. I got into
but that's why you did that with the video thing. I do that whenever I'm watching that E60 profile thing on the Black Hole. If you ever watch it, when Black Hole Rob was talking about, when we first got into this section, people was all complaining about we were standing up and all that, and they couldn't stand us. As soon as he said, and then new people started coming in. You see a picture of me right in the middle, standing on the back of somebody's chair. But that's my point, though, and it feels selfish to say. But, if you don't take up for yourself, who's going to take up for you?
Yeah.
These entities are the people that were there then, making it happen. And I don't understand how people that weren't there can discredit or like not take these people a notch down, try to make yourself look bigger and make us as if we're small, as if we didn't make this happen. They didn't make us. They can't break us. And the saddest thing that's happened is because we're such, and I'll say this sounds really weird, but Raider Nation as a whole is really, really great-hearted people. But unfortunately, so many people just take that blind eye to cause. I'm living my good life. I got mine. I'm doing my thing. Everything is comfortable over here. No big deal. But the people that built this thing come from a different class. Most of us were struggling. And so now that the Raider Nation and now that Black Hole has finally gotten to a point to where, people want to put money behind it and they're selling and, the different things. The people that built it are being discarded. And I never understood that that's what Raider Rob was talking about. You know what I mean? I always make sure I get a personal shout out to him, because as my mentor, as a person that brought me into this, I didn't even see what was being built. I had no idea where this was going, but I gave it my all. I gave everything to it. I created a Raider O, something that's lasted over 30 years, just on its own, just floating in the air like a damn kite. And now we have an opportunity to really put this thing on another level. And I'm praying to God that people aren't so selfish and into their bank and checking accounts that they squash the family, trying to make themselves look bigger than what they are. Because that's what's in danger. They're in danger of killing our family.
Yeah. Yeah, because this history, it comes at a time where you didn't have cell phone cameras to record everything and document everything, and this was on a big camcorder. It was a small camcorder.
We were still using payphones.
Yeah,
we were using payphones, and we were on the radio. We were doing radio broadcasts at a damn table, and we just go take and set up everything at a table.
What up, Raider Twan? What up, Raider Twan? Oh yeah, Jim. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, shout out all Raider Nation in the chats, man. My thing is small. I can't really. My thing is small. That don't sound right. The screen is small, and I can't really read the comments, but I can feel the love. I just wanted to shout out everybody.
Now, Asylum. You've
go ahead. I'm going to respond to Douglas here, because obviously he's a fan of a certain team and don't even know their own goddamn history. So I'm about to sit right here.
And in typical whiner fashion, he had our party and they ain't got one. Welcome, Douglas. It's only a charge you 19% to cross over, brother. No installments, though. It's got to be a dump payment.
And even though we mess with Douglas Sinclair when he comes on, he's a dedicated viewer, so we appreciate him watching, and even for the most part when he goes into the comments. So it's all love. It's a love-hate relationship.
Exactly, and we love to hate it. We love to hate it, Douglas. We need this for Thanksgiving, man. This will make the turkey taste better. Appreciate you tapping in, Doc.
and you know what? They don't have Candlestick anymore. We don't have the Coliseum anymore, so we're in the same boat. You know, our history, our main ground.
No, he was just talking about movement after like the Niners have been in San Francisco the whole time they've been the damn 49ers.
No one even likes that stadium. I know
Raider
Raider fans.
I heard that new place was a dump too. They went from a dump into a new dump.
Into a hot dump.
Anyways, you were asking me something. What was the question? I took care of it.
I was gonna say you spent almost 2 decades out there. You had season tickets for yourself and for your dad, who you converted over. I don't know. You convert. I would say maybe he'd say yes or no, but you converted him over to the dark side. When it comes to the Oakland vibe, the Oakland Coliseum, that whole atmosphere, and I know you haven't yet been to the new stadium, and I keep telling everybody the new stadium is beautiful, it's nice, but I grew up on Hagenberger, 66 and Hagenberger. I grew up over there in the Coliseum, D-Lot and everything. You were always at D-Lot also, and me and you would always go around. Me and you and Asylum would always go around to different tailgates and just try to just meet everybody and everything like that.
We even went all the way to the other side, do Raiderville and see Bill Romanowski and shit like that doing their radio show.
I remember Hell's Kitchen was big then.
when you were there, Asylum, and you just out there with the straight jacket and the cage and everything. What was it like being a part of what us Raider fans say history? Like you say Mecca, and that word came from Violator. Violator called it it's Mecca. Violator calls it Mecca. That's what we say.
Tim Del Rosario who started that. No, not to knock down Violator, but Tim Del Rosario named Oakland Airport Hilton the trek to Mecca, and that's what we started calling it, the Mecca.
Okay. My bad. I know we heard it. Yeah, I know we heard it on where I think it was ESPN or something, where he said that. No, it was on the news. It was on the CBS News that me and Asylum ended up on, where he talked about that at one of the Black Hole parties that was right off of the Hagenberger exit at that one hotel. They had it for those 2 years before they moved. But Asylum, talk about just coming from the BART over the catwalk and then taking that long walk, and all you just see the Coliseum, just kind of like you're walking into Disneyland and you see the castle and you're just walking in there, knowing that
Disneyland, Raider Nation, Raider Valley.
Hold on, the Coliseum was better than Disneyland. I'll say it. Fuck Disneyland. We have more characters than Disney does. That's for sure.
And a lot of them a hell of a lot more goofy.
Just explain, because when I started doing the Raider Savage thing in 2017, I would follow Asylum. I'm like, dude, man, I'm giving homage to Macho Man. If Macho Man was a Raider fan, but I got the tights on and everything. Like, hey, I need backup just in case. I got to go off the top rope, and I need someone, whatever. So Asylum, like, okay, whatever. So we go in, and we'll cross over. I'll park at the Coliseum BART, walk up to the top to the beginning of the catwalk, and then we'll walk over, and just automatically, everybody, and then we'll just go down the ramp towards D-Lot, and all you smell in the air is barbecue.
Oh fuck yeah!
Cigarettes and marijuana. Talk about just walking down there and feeling just like going into that atmosphere and knowing like this, like RaiderMan said, like this is church. This is our Sunday church. So talk about that.
I mean, I'll give you a what is it? A quick rundown what it was like for me when I was going, especially after starting being asylum and everything. You know, I get on the BART because I lived in Hayward at the time, so jump on, go to the BART station, take BART, and the people from the area know it's just a public transportation. It was a train to get to where we needed to go. Okay. I'd be 100% in the straitjacket, cages off, just chilling. You kind of like getting in that zone, right? You're just preparing. Get on the train, do that ride, watching everyone come on, kind of talking, whatever going. Then you get off that train at your stop. You're finally at your stop. You get off that train. Now you're going to go to, which at the end of the game, it was definitely more fitting, but we used to call the cattle run, the cattle herd. Because at the end of the game, you felt like nothing but cattle all packed in just trying to get on that train. But that was that catwalk you're talking about. So you start walking down that catwalk, okay? Now, I was a smoker at the time. First thing you do, put the cage on, light up that cigarette. As it's going, as you walk
the Beletnikov roots roll.
Yeah, So, as soon as you get that catwalk, you already see the stadium. I mean, you see it clear as day. You seeing all the Raiders shit up there. As RaiderMan saying, we're doing it throughout all the time, but you got, everyone's Raiders. I mean, be dead quiet. Somebody says it, everyone's got to respond. That was our call. You had the call to get into going. So as that cage came on, my dad, my wife, everybody always said, I changed. I went from being who I was, my normal 6 days a week, Joe Blow,
quiet
normal person, and the cage come on and you instantly change. Now you're in mode. You're in Raider mode. And then you start walking, you start going, and then you have that little decline coming, you get over
the parking lot. Yeah, you gotta get over the crest.
You're doing that, it starts getting loud. It starts feeling like the best way I can explain it is like you're going to a family reunion. Right? You're walking in, family's already, most of your family's already there, party's going, music's blasting, barbecue going. You just walking in. You see so many people you had never met. You may never see them again. But every time you start walking by people, seeing, talking, it's like you guys known each other your whole life, your family. It's just, hey, what's up? What's going to go on? And as it goes, people you get, you got food. You have people say, hey, come over here. Come tailgate with us. Oh, I got somewhere to go. No, hold on. Just come here real quick.
Yeah, I'll go to your tailgate with you.
I mean,
stop by mine, I'll come by yours.
You stop about 10 times at 10 different tailgates before you even get to the tailgate you're trying to get to.
3 beers in your pocket.
Oh shit! Hold on. You know how many beers that stuck into the? You know how many beers that stuck into the game just for
exactly
alone?
They used to shake us down with the trash cans right there at the walk-in gate. Stash a couple beers in your socks on the inside of your ankle. You can make it.
I fill my sleeves of my straight jacket with beers. I'd have at least a 6-pack in there.
That was the advantage of having those pinched off sleeves.
Hey, but not only that, but all that metal on there, I always set off the damn metal detector. So they turn around and warn me. They warn me. Beep, 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 beep. All right, just go.
All right, let's go.
Just go.
And I tell you what, my perspective, because I did the catwalk on a few occasions, but I drove most of the time. So my perspective was coming in off of 66 most of the time, unless we were on that side street adjacent to the freeway, coming from the backside of off of Hagenberg or 98, whatever the hell that was. But where the old Malibu race Grand Prix used to be.
Yeah.
But
yeah. The castle.
I remember when you talk about coming off of Hollering Raiders, and I got to do this quick story in honor of Black Hole Rob Rivera, because it's a travesty that he's not here with us anymore. Gone way too soon, but God rest his soul. And I'm going to do my best to try to share this story because my brother was the only one that could honestly do it. We had some other Black Holders on the line, so Rebello, he might remember it, maybe a couple of others. But the biggest one for me was coming off of the freeway on 66. I'm in my truck. I had a Nissan hardbody truck that I had previously crashed off the side of a freeway. I ran into a pole, long story short, did a little bit of fall guy, but the truck still ran. And, I just missed the grill guard. So my hood and all that stuff was real ugly. It looked like the truck was scowling. So I'm coming to the game, and I was in a real hard time at the time.
Truck had the game face on.
Yeah, my truck always had the game face on. He was dark charcoal gray with the blacked out smoke windows. So he was ominous. It was really ominous truck. So here I am. I'm coming to the game, and Rob, he was on me because at the time I was a little bit of a killjoy. I didn't have the funds. I was a little bit holding back. I'm like, y'all can do it. You don't need Raider Man there for this one. Raider Man, get your ass out here, bro. We need you. We need you. So I go ahead and hit the damn freeway. Get over there. Long story short, my engine decides it wants to blow. Literally get off of the freeway exit. I'm coming over that off ramp. You got to go up the crest. When you mentioned the crest asylum, I started thinking about that. I'm coming off of the 66 exit. You got to kind of come up the exit. Up the crest. And then as soon as you get to that little peak, my engine blew. Boom. And you can hear the smoke off of the radiator. And so I had just enough momentum to where the truck was gliding. I left it in neutral, crawling over the hill. And as I'm starting to slow down and then go into my new momentum, I scream, Raiders! Black hole Rob. Pumpkin head comes from behind, I don't know, 2 cars. You just see his big old head like a big old beacon light. He come from behind 2 cars. Hey, that's Raider Man, man. That's right. Hey, all you guys move your truck, man. And these guys clear a space as I'm creeping down the hill in neutral with my truck smoking like a damn locomotive. And I'm coming over the hill and I glide right down into a spot. And as soon as I get into the little spot, I throw on the brake and everybody just busts into it. Yeah, Raider Man's here, bro. We break out the tequila sunrises. We toast and we serenade my truck Last Day Alive with the theme song, the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
And that became the nickname to my truck. Every time Ron saw me, he started, oh, you pretty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I love you. That Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, man. And I miss my brother because I couldn't possibly tell that story the way he'd tell it. He'd tell it perfectly, but we had so many memories coming off of that side. My initiation, I don't know, Rachel probably hates this if she heard it because, Rob used to try to hide everything from Rachel. But the initiation for me, I didn't have to jump in the pool. I wasn't really ever late to the parties either, but, they got to haze you with something. And so I'm going to say this.
If I was late to the party, it was always somebody else's fault.
It was always somebody else's fault.
I know who.
But no, Alex knows though. It truly was not my fault. It truly was not my fault.
Go to shower your front tire on your car. That was your initiation. You show your front tire got to get golden showered.
Well, hey, that
happened to a lot.
Now, well, speaking of initiation,
that was because remember the black hole was kind of like a spinoff. Even though we don't want to give them too much credit, they did what they did and they deserve all the respect. But we the dog pound on rabies. And they were just a bunch of cats running around in dog masks. We lift a leg and piss on your car tire. Real dog.
Well, and you said, speaking of initiation, and Raider Rob Howard, that was one of the things he get on my dad's mic. All right, everybody, we got, what's your name? John, get over here. John right here wants to be part of the black hole. Can I get all the members over here? Dave, Rob, Hardhead Harry, Tim Cunningham, Malden Otto, come over here. Everyone, let's make sure we got to do this right. We're going to initiate him into the black hole. Let's get him his baptism right here. And they all open their can of beers. Let's do it. And they go and pour all their beers on that guy's head. And he's like, yeah, just dripping beer and everything. All these cans of beer on his head. I don't know how many times I've seen that as a kid. And my dad's looking like, hey, just don't get the mic wet. Just don't get the mic wet.
Hey. And that's literally that's what the Raider Oath was created for. Those showers, those initiation showers. You do the Raider Oath, you do it together, they get their shower. Now you part of it. Your job is to go teach next generation the Raider Oath. Yeah. That's the way it's supposed to work.
And, you know, like me and myself, you know, I didn't growing up. You know, I didn't go out. I didn't sneak out. You know, when I was younger, I didn't do all of that. I was at home. You know, my family would joke with me like, "Oh, you were sheltered." Da, 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 da. But I really think about it. I'm like, I wasn't really sheltered. I was 12, 13, 14 years old going to the Oakland Hilton Friday nights and Saturday nights, sitting at the bar, drinking my Sprite right next to Run Run Jones. And like I said, whoever young woman he was with at the time, then I go over there and say what's up to Jack Tatum and I'm forgetting his name. Raymond Chester would go up there on stage and they'll play harmonica with my dad's band, and I go over there and I got more tapes. I gotta find them. I got more VHSs somewhere.
Yeah, we got a lot of boxes to
generator. Yeah, and then my job on Sunday mornings was making sure the generator had gasoline, and then my mom, she had I had like this blue Lego bucket. And then like the yellow, you know, like the old school, the toy that you know, when you're doing a baseball practice, like the little that shoots the ball up and you hit the ball, the little play school thing. So I had like this yellow cone, you know, for the ball to go in. So she took the cone, put it on top of the big blue Lego bucket I had, and you know, emptied it out, you know, and she'll go around and collect tips for the band. So they throw it in the cone, and I'm over there. I'm standing next to the generator, making sure. Okay, you know, I'm over here, 12 years old, 13 years old, with this big, you know, gallon of gasoline, just pouring it in there like nothing. You know, and I'm around beer and hard liquor and all these guys dancing and you know, with their wives and girlfriends and dancing or whatever. And I'm thinking like, you know what, I might have not, you know, had a normal, you know, young teenage life and all that. But I got to see Raider Nation history. I got to see Black Hole history. I was at a lounge that's 21 and older, and I'm 12. So either they were dyslexic or I had
12. So you got all your bacteria in the sandbox, man. That's where all the kids used to get their sickness.
Yeah, and I'm over there dressed up, you know, in my black button up and my, you know, I have my slacks and I'm just normal, you know, sitting there with my mom at the table, watching my dad play music. You know, like I said, Jack Tatum and Raymond Chester, and I met Jerry Rice once, and you know, it was normal to me. It was normal to me, and I think about it now, like, wow, I had an interesting life. This is my childhood. I grew up with all this, you know, and that's what I just try to tell the story of how it used to be, and even a child like me, going into my teenage years, like. This is what I grew up around. I grew up on D-Lot. I was over there just kind of looking around and seeing the crowd and just people would just show up. They didn't have tickets. They weren't going to the game, but they would show up to the tailgate and just be part of the party.
49er fans included. We used to have so many 49er fans at them parties.
They just wear blank black shirts.
That was the thing. And this is you touching on the reason why we have to learn how to appreciate our people while we're alive. Because all of that stuff was, again, I said in the beginning of this call, it was organic. It was just the way things were happening. But those things were, in a way, governed by the facilitators of that time. Black Hole Rob, Raider Rob, Black Hole Dave Monzo, you know, the core guys of the Black Hole, like Richie and, you know, and all the guys.
You know, Harry and Maldonado.
Yeah, it's like everybody had a role, so it was almost like a talent show, you know, in the days of late 70s or whatnot, when cats used to get together, but you were choreographed. You had a way that everything moved together. When integral pieces of your family die off, those spaces can't just be replaced. And if nobody takes up the reverence or pays homage to the history, that's what damages the next generation. That's the horse that I'm on. That's the soapbox or the hill that I'm going to die on as Raider Man. I refuse to leave Raider Nation, the next generation, with the misconception that every single thing related to the Black Hole, anything under the umbrella of Raider Nation, is family first. Family first. Now, yes, we had to grow to a space where money had to start getting involved because there's sponsorships and stuff like that. It's the same principle that everybody bitch about the quarterbacks that so-called don't deserve all that money, that get the raise, and then, oh, well, why are you paying this? Because there's a collective bargaining agreement. There's how much money is being earned, and there's a percentage cut. Well, the black hole wasn't cut in on the percentage like that. Media, multimedia is just using us like caricatures. You know, we just free cartoons to them. And until the black hole as an entity, the people of the black hole start to step up and speak out for each other, we hold each other. We don't let our lineage go. We don't disgrace our heritage by not remembering the past. We don't play this, throw the rock and hide your hands game, because that's what's happening, because people are vying for their own personal spots, all these podcasts and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Well, even those eras are dying. The podcast in itself, as I understand it, is becoming obsolete. There's going to have to be some other ways of doing stuff, streaming and everything else. So keep that in mind as you squashing the little man, trying to think that you're getting over, thinking that you're doing something special. If you're not honoring the originators, you're denigrating the bloodline.
Yeah.
Don't matter what family you're from, don't matter where you're from. It's just true. And that's got to stop happening in the Raider Nation. I'm hoping we grow up and get our head out of our ass.
Yeah, and speaking of podcasters, one of the first ones to do so was Raider Rob,
Yep.
Black Hole Staff and Stoner Dude with the Raider Fan Radio.
Yep.
They started
Call
that
me
back in the
project.
early 2000s. They had their own radio station where the actual 1050, the ticket 1050 was all like, hey, man, hey, you're taking our guys. Well, hey, you're not giving us enough representation.
I was there for that.
Yeah.
And that's why they know me so well. But that's the thing about it. The irony of it is, after all these years, they can play with that amnesia. Like they don't really know who they stole it from. Like they don't really know that they pissing in Raider Rob face with that crap. Like they don't really know that they pissing on the grave of Black Hole Rob, just because, he tried to do business and it didn't necessarily include everybody. God bless it. He's gone. We can talk about that kind of stuff. But people keep their mouths shut. They throw the rock, they hide their hands. And, unfortunately, time is going to keep taking us away.
Yeah.
So, Lord forbid, this is the last podcast Raider Man on in the cage match, right? Where's the history going to come from?
Yeah.
Who's going to keep the bloodline straight? Who's going to propagate the oath? They'd try to steal the Raider Oath. If I didn't have it copywritten, they'd probably been to try to steal Raider Man, been to try to steal Raider Oath and be out there making money off of it. Wouldn't even send no money home to my wife or my babies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the business is being done now. The people that had nothing to do with it are the only ones that's benefiting from it. And it's diluting the product.
On the Raider Oath will be on. I tell you that much.
Appreciate you guys. You already know it's one love till the wheels fall off. This is real family, And it's coming back around. Quiet is kept. Like I said, I'm not into the name dropping and stuff like that. But I tell you what, I talked to a pretty pinnacle member of our Raider Nation today, one of our Hall of Fame members, and he loves us. He loves Raider Man. He known me from all these years. He remembered me, and there's a allegiance of others that's growing. And, they're going to start seeing us pop up. And they know I'm coming brandishing real Raider Nation. I'm coming brandishing the original Black Hole. So I keep warning the people. I don't like to say newbies and stuff because I feel like I'm throwing off with longevity. That's not what it's about. But if you're trying to discredit the origins of this black hole and try to supersede that for yourself, it's going to clash and it's going to make a bad light. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to pop up with a bad light because they try to ride a lie. They got an opportunity to get out in front of it now. That's why I'm saying something. I'm hoping that we all get on one accord. That's my real goal. But I tell you what, I'm walking through this fire.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad that we were able to put a show together. Like the Raider team has been quiet. So okay, we can focus on some other other important history that we always try to talk about. And that's just like the Raider, that Raider life, that Raider mystique, that Oakland mystique. And that's how I always introduce when I talk about you and the podcast that you're doing and everything. I always talk about he brings that Oakland mystique over because, and this is no knock on the Las Vegas Raider fans, but they need an injection or Tower Power. They need that soul vaccination.
Cool right there. Look at Savage off the top rope with the stinging elbow.
They need that solo vaccination, you know, Tower Power from Oakland. They need that in there, infused inside that stadium to get the fans fired up, you know. It's not about the beautiful stadium and all that, whatever, because they used to call the Coliseum a dump. But the one thing about us who went to that, whether it was A's games, whether it was Raider games, Asad, what did we always say?
That was our dump.
It's our dump.
Yeah.
That was our.
They can call it whatever they want.
Last week, I missed that damn dirt infield at the
dump.
beginning of the season. I want the dirt infield back in Las Vegas.
Look, I love that dump so much. I spent 2.5 years as the beer man inside the dump. So not only was I Raider man, I was beer man.
And, you know, and I still, I haven't been to, my last time at the Coliseum was that last A's game that, you know, the last A's game last season when they did the ceremony and everything of their last run at the Coliseum. I haven't been to the soccer field, which I wanted to, just to go one more time inside the hallways. Raiders, which it doesn't matter if it's Disney on Ice and they're over there. I don't care what it is. I'm going to be over there inside. The first time I'm going to say it, my girlfriend will be like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm all like, I got to do it. I got to do it. Raiders! And then you hear the distance.
The thing is, anybody who's from there and has been during a game, if they hear it, it's instinctual to respond.
Yes.
It's not even one of those things you think about it. The minute you hear it, your first instinct is to respond.
Hey, it's like bats. You don't hear one bat go, eh. You hear one bat, eh. You hear 1,000. That's the way it's intended to be. And that's the other part that's really a disgrace. The people, well, no, I'm not even going back in there. I'm getting off of that. I don't need to talk about that crap no more. God know what he's doing. The spirit is coming. It's rolling in like a wave. I believe it's going to be more like a tidal wave. And I'm just hoping that the good people on the right side of the demolition.
And that's why I'm glad that, you know, I don't want to say like LL Cool J, don't call it a comeback. You've been here for years. I'm glad though that you're there and you're bringing that Oakland Mystique over, and then also with the history, you're not there to entertain, you're there to educate. There you go. I was going to say to professorize, to educate, to educate and show by example what we used to do in Oakland. I mean, a lot of us still carry it with us over there, and it's like a culture clash. But what we used to do in Oakland and what was accepted amongst everyone, there was no question, why are you doing that for? Why are you guys yelling Raiders across the casino? Like, why? Because if I see someone wearing the same colors as me, Raiders, and if he's, okay, you're from the town. You're from over there. What's up, brother? How you know? Whatever.
Not even from over there, but you've been there. And you've been there more than once.
Yeah,
and you know what's supposed to be done. That is, the knowledge. It's passing on the knowledge, and that knowledge needs to just continue on. Yeah, in the casino. Fuck it. When you do that and you hear that response, you know those people have been to Oakland. They've been to Mecca. They've been there, and they know how it used to be.
And think about this. As big as our family is, literally international, you got people coming from across the waters. And this was from 25, 30 years ago when we were doing Trek to Mecca at the Oakland Airport Hilton. That's why we were calling it Trek to Mecca. We had people coming in from Denmark and Finland and Switzerland.
England, Ireland.
Yeah. And so some of these people are being recognized now for their longevity and holding it down. UK Raider, it's a lot of people. But they're only kind of being like name recognized because you got these posers that want to be down with it so bad. And so it's like this who's who game. Oh, we're the inside. We're on the inside. We got something that you want. You got something that we want. We are Raider Nation. They didn't even have enough respect for us to put real Raider fans in the space. And that's what Raider Rob was fight. That's what the whole fight was. For the fans, by the fans. It was supposed to be our thing. Who could commentate us better than us? Who deserves a spot better than the people that's working harder than anybody to put themselves in the space? But then you got people from the outside. Don't even respect us enough to even be able to hold a Raiders call. Don't ever say Raiders. They just want to say Raiders for me. Say no, you say Raiders, motherfucker. But they don't even feel like they need to be a part of that because they're too good for it. Why the fuck are you in that position? Why do you want to do Raider Nation Radio if it's not for us? Raider Nation Radio should be for us. I shouldn't even use their name, but I don't think they should have used that name, because if you want to be somebody else, you should have picked a new name. But Raider Nation is a real entity. It's a real thing. The black hole is a real thing. Just because you're throwing out names and making subscriptions and sponsorships and shit, they making the money off of that. They're not feeding no money into the black hole. Who's supporting us? You hear people all day long bragging on the radio, all this. I make this much money. Oh, they pay me so much money to do this shit. Yeah, but we gave you the opportunity. You wouldn't even have that opportunity if it wasn't for us.
Yeah.
And don't even respect the people that gave you the opportunity. The people that came in and supported your ass, came in and backed you up, take you into all of the deepest, darkest places, ingratiate you into this family, but you like a damn vampire come to the door and start sucking on everybody's fucking neck. It's a travesty, man. And until somebody get the balls to stand up and say it, and I don't even want to say it like that because you already know RaiderMan gonna say something. But for me, it's not about having balls. To me, it's about telling the truth. I was just a child when this family started. Well, it's hard to say that with Savage on the line. I was a young man when this thing started. You know, I was the baby brother. I was like an adopted baby brother of this family. Mama and daddy didn't think they was gonna have no more kids, but all of a sudden, here come this little loudmouth. And then all of a sudden, everything started getting big and prominent and all that stuff. And I paid special homage to Raider Rob about this because, like I said, that's my mentor. That was the guy that called me in. He was the one that put the microphone in my hand. Hey, RaiderMan, you got a voice. Look at Tim Del Rosario right there. See, people don't even know the history.
Yeah.
People don't even know the history. I remember that day, Raider Rob was talking shit. You know, oh, RaiderMan. Look, wait, go back to the last one. Look, RaiderMan. Oh, look, RaiderMan, you're so big and bad, RaiderMan. But that's how we used to screw with each other, you know? It's just hazing.
I was going to say, go to the next year. And unfortunately, nowadays, you going to bring it up?
Which one?
The last one.
The family photo. Yeah.
No, that one right there. Unfortunately, a lot of fans think that's what the black hole is right there.
Yep.
And that's not what
that's
it
what
is.
they think it is.
That's not what it is.
Because certain people are selling it to be that way because they're trying to make their name big. The black hole was intended for our entire society. It starts in that Coliseum, but it transcends around the world every single game day. People don't understand that. They're trying to clump us into this little cluster that they can explain. We're not explainable like that. We don't even understand each other like that. We still growing into our own damn shoes. But they want to come in and control our party. They think that they can monetize and further control us as if we're just some asset that they picked up. That's not how it works. They didn't make us. They can't break us. All our shit is organic. But they're going to know. They're going to find out. I'm just hoping they find out with them on the right side of history because it can get ugly.
Hey, with people like us doing the shit we're doing here right now.
Yep.
Well, always going to be able to, somebody's going to be able to teach. The history will not be forgotten. And that's what people need to remember. Don't forget your history. Learn your history because without your history, there ain't shit. You don't know shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doomed to repeat the failures of the past.
So, I know you're saying you got stuff in the works and you don't want to talk about, but do you have any how do you say ventures or whatever that you want to shout out or put out there? Because I know we pushed the podcast, RaiderMan from Richmond podcast. Are we going to get another season of that going into this year?
We are circling back, and I appreciate you bringing that up. I was listening to the podcast while I was driving earlier, so I heard you mention it about the website. There are a few changes. We're in the midst of getting everything back up. I was supposed to go meet with my associate earlier to get that taken care of. I didn't get a chance to. There's going to be some modifications. Everybody knows me personally as your friendly neighborhood RaiderMan number 19, but I've stepped up my game a little bit, considering that we're coming back new and improved. It won't necessarily be a rebranding, but it's definitely going up the totem pole because I just purchased the domain RaiderMan.com. And we're going big, go daddy. And we reestablishing the format. We realized that you know, with podcasts, things are kind of growing a little stale, or however they want to claim it. There's a new era of streaming and whatnot, and I'm looking to put myself on the tip of that spear and start bringing some of the energy and excitement that we deserve as Raider Nation. Of course, you already know I want to incorporate all of my family, not just you guys here with our family with the cage match, but I got some other guys around Raider Nation and in different states, and it's stretching out pretty far. That I want to bring in the collaboration with each other the way it should be. So we can kind of sister with each other and dovetail and really start representing the black hole and in global Raider Nation the way that it should be. There's too many people fighting the lines for prominence. It's unnecessary. I don't consider myself competing with anybody. I am Raider Man, and Raider Man is going to bring you product with a specification and the homage paid to the original black holers, to the origins of the Raider Nation, and with a true historical aspect that's going to truly propel the next generation to the space they deserve to be. Been working with my Unviolator for a couple of years on some ideas and some concepts that we can do, to get together and have some exclusive interviews. And today, like I said, I won't do too much. I won't do any name dropping outside of our Raider Nation guys, but it's taking a step up. One, you know what? I'm going to throw this one out there. Here's a little tidbit, because this might actually get back to him, and I'll be proud of that. I was blessed on, I believe it was just yesterday or the day before, to receive a DM from an illustrious member of our real next generation of Raider Nation. Our first overall draft pick, number 6, in our hearts, number 2, going forward, young Deuce, Ashton Genty, sent me a message letting me know that he's seen some of the work, he's felt the Raider Oath, he's felt our energy here in the black hole in the Raider Nation, and he see me, and that he was going to recognize, and that we're going to start getting. It wasn't no false promises. You know, the man is an OTAs. He's a rookie, got plenty of shit to do. But just for that man to reach out and to say that he can feel the love coming from the Oath, that's pinnacle for me. That's huge for me. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do our best to tap in here. I'm doing my best to create a brand new line of some fresh and original content. Stuff nobody even thinking about. Everybody doing the mundane. Just get on to start talking. And that's cool. I'm not putting nobody down. But shows like this, where you guys really delve deep, you know, you're really working to craft something that's not only watchable, but entertaining and true to the brand. And that makes me proud. It makes me proud that y'all keep the Raider Oath out there at the tip of your spear. And, you know, that hand is going to wash each other, because we got to stick together. Y'all original black holders. We started this thing in the beginning, and we're going to ride it till the wheels fall off. But that will be the main change. The website will be going from RaiderMan19.com to RaiderMan.com. I have to get it up. I'm working on my business cards and QR codes and all that kind of stuff. We got some keychains and some other things going. I've been in works with the head of our now black hole. Like I said, no name dropping, but he know who he is, and a lot of other people do too. But I'm working to build a relationship where we can grow forward and benefit off of each other. Primarily, my main objective is to get the Raider Oath onto merch and on the chest of every single child, everybody in the next generation of Raider Nation. I'm targeting, and to mention the Ashton Genty, I'm targeting our rookie class in its entirety. I want to have the entire rookie class get indoctrinated and initiated under the Raider Oath. And I want to start having the initiations that were privy or that were, you know, akin to our tailgates in Oakland with the beer showers or Kool-Aid showers or whatever the person wants to get showered.
Violators, senor, been making a special for him. And the rest of you guys that bought some
Yeah, the Raider Oath is gonna live, man. I mean, it's living, but it's time to make all the parts touch.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're working on. I got a great associate, very, very smart. You already know what we did with the Raider Man from Richmond podcast that we put together. It was fledgling. We got it thrown together in a bit of a crunch because I was personally growing through a pretty horrible time. I had just lost my job. The very first episode of my podcast was shot the day after I got fired from a job. So battling through depressions and everything else, no excuse. I'm walking through the fire to represent as Raider Man. And I need all the support. I need every single bid a true Raider Nation that's out there. Everybody that claim you're a real black holder or you got any respect for the black hole, we going in, man. It's 30 years. 30 years. And my two brothers who created that black hole with all the guys that came in and started collaborating with ideas, they're dead. Don't have any other way to put that. You don't get people back. And we got to start celebrating each other right now. We're going to take this thing. We're going to party till the wheels fall off. And Lord willing, we got a good amount, plenty of time to go and do it in. But if we don't start now, when?
Yeah.
And if not us, then who? So, you know, it's no more of that Mr. Nice Guy. You know, the gloves is coming off, man. It's time to get down. Somebody pull a jersey over their head and start swinging for the ribs. Come on, Asylum. You already know what to do, man. Put them pinch down sleeves on them, man. Pin them sleeves to the back of their ass and wear their ass out, because it's time.
You know what? I'm telling you, how many times you see a fight done with a nice, good body shot, liver shot, bam! Motherfucker drops like a rock.
They don't like it, man. It's a trip too. Lately in boxing, as much as boxing is taking a hit, no pun intended, it's been some vicious body shot knockouts over the last year in boxing. And I think that's how I'm paying.
That one liver shot, motherfucker not only fucking goes to that knee, but that motherfucker taps out real quick. Goes, okay, I'm done. I'm done. Get him away. Get him away. Fuck that shit. It hurt.
Yeah, and then brother say on Rocky IV, chop him down. Chop him down.
And then going off of what you said with Raider Dave Monzo and Black Hole Rob Rivera, my mom, you know, my cousin, my mom's cousin. This should have had happened one day. It'll never happen, but we do it in spirit.
Yep.
You know, Black Hole Rob and Raider Dave Monzo one day should have lit the torch together to show unity like that with the Black Hole Raider Nation. And that's the Coliseum torch, but that's where it all started. That's where all our history is at. So this is an episode that I wanted to do to talk about the history, and then with somebody like yourself, Raider Man, who was not just a witness of, because I say I was a witness of history, but you was also a part of history. You was, and you're carrying that baton, you're carrying that Olympic torch, basically like that, to light the torch. Basically, that's what we're trying to get you to do somehow, some way, is to carry that Olympic torch basically and take it to the Vegas torch. So that's what we're trying to do, and that's why I was like, we got to get Raider Man on here.
Yeah, that's probably the only way I'm going to a game. I got to ride them coattails to that torch.
So you want to say,
hey, you know what? I will say this, and this might be talking a little bit out of school. I haven't had a revision of the conversation yet, revisit to the conversation yet. However, it was proposed to me by the now owner of the Black Hole to put some things together to get Raider Man out for the home opener. And I'm throwing that out there because not only do I really, really feel like I need to be there, I really, really want to be there, obviously. But
Monday Night Football.
There's a lot of extraneous circumstances, though. My daddy used to call it life on life terms. And in real life, Raider Man been struggling. And and I'm not about to put my hat in my hand here, so don't nobody misinterpret this message, but I want to say this plain. Time is there you go. I put my hat in Asylum hand. But real talk, we gotta get I don't know, call it sponsorship or whatever the case may be, but there's some endeavors that Raider Man is going to be pushing forward, and I'm really hoping to be able to garner the support of all of the people who honestly support me. I've never been one to ask and I need money and all that kind of stuff, but everything costs, and shit is getting more expensive. And we are talking about Vegas. They gouging the hell out of everybody on the lower levels. So, putting this thing together is going to take a collaboration. And I don't exactly know what that means yet, but I'm really, really hoping, and I'm praying, honestly, that there's some people that's willing to kick in and contribute to be able to getting this thing kicked off. Because once we get it rolling, I don't believe anybody be able to knock this train off of the track. But considering that we're having to kind of piecemeal it, if you will. Raider Man as himself, I always feel narcissistic when I say this, but I wasn't put in the position where I believe that I should have been put to have this project go to Vegas. and I'm doing my best to put myself in that position. So I'm hoping to work with the people that are the powers that be, but I'm also working with some people that are becoming the powers for me. And if I can get all of those pieces to come together in the middle, we're going to have an era of the Black Hole and of Raider Nation that I believe Black Hole Dave, Monzo, and Black Hole Rob will be able to feel wherever they are. And I'm assuming it's in heaven.
Yeah.
But, you know, considering that my brothers didn't get a chance to experience this, it truly makes my heart bleed to make this name, to make this project, to make what we created bigger than any of us ever imagined. I think the world deserves that. Raider Nation as a global entity. I believe the people over there off the corner in Ethiopia and, you know, playing soccer somewhere, and just that one Raider fan in the crew deserve to hear Raiders holler back when he hear it. And if we don't do that, it's not going to get done. It's our job. So band together, man. You know, I'm asking for support. Raider Man wants you. And if that's monetary support, please send it. You know, I mean, I'm not begging for nobody, and I'm not asking for no specific numbers and all that kind of stuff. But the can-dos, please do. And the spirits that will, please pray for the process in the interim, because we coming. We're going to fix this thing. And I got the smartest people working with me, and I got some more people that's even smarter than them that's starting to back me. And they see what the project is, and I believe that they believe in it. So I'm pushing forward with it. Like I said, I'm hoping all sides end up on the right side of this thing. I don't want it to be no competition between Raider Man and nothing. It ain't nothing ever going to try to convince me that I'm going against the Black Hole. Shit, I'm baby brother of this Black Hole. I represent this family, and can't nobody do it like me. So anybody that's questioning that, meet me at the killing floor.
Well, that's how we always try to push. We always say Raider Man. He does the oath. That's our national anthem. Basically, you stand up and, you know, a hat to the heart, and we do the Raider oath, and we end it with "I am a Raider fan," because that's what we are. We are Raider fans. We're also family. You know, brothers and sisters under how you say
under the oath,
under a groove. So
yeah, under a groove. Yeah, straight from the lyrics. Hey, you know what? I want to throw this in there too. I'm gonna plant this seed because this is what I'm after. I'm looking for the cathartic Raider oath initiation inside Allegiant Stadium. I mean, where we do get to that torch. We do get to do that Raider oath live in front of our whole Raider Nation global. But right there in that stadium, I'm hoping to create such a catharsis that on that second I am a Raider fan, everybody initiate themselves. Everybody just dump whatever beer they got right over their head, over your own head. We used to do our own showers. You know, I'm taking the oath again. Because that's mostly why everybody was always double fisted. One's the drink, one's the doubt. But we're bringing it back, man.
My first game there, I'll do it right in front of the torch. You do the oath, and I'll do the pouring.
I love it. I love it. I want to see how many people can squeeze into that thing. I want to see at least 50,000 people completely drenched from a fresh Modelo. That's my dream.
And hey, that's what we used to do in parking lot D. If we can do that out there, baptize ourselves, you know, basically.
Yep. But we've also done it in parking lot A. We got a few initiations in A, and we got a bunch of initiations over there in I think it was C. But yeah, shit, on the other side of the parking lot, on that far side, back there where Hell's Kitchen and all that was, man, they used to love them Raider oath initiations. But then they started trying to, you know, one up us. And I don't like to go into that because we got blessed with some great experiences and stuff like that, like, you know, like Metallica coming and playing in the parking lot and shit like that. But I'll still die on this hill. That should have been Raiderhead. If anything, Raiderhead should have been able to go up and play with Metallica. At least do Niner Hater with Metallica on the stage. You know, anything, you know, but don't squeeze us out. We created this platform. You know, and you think that you can come up and one-up us and outdo us and try to recreate the wheel, you got to at least be a Raider fan. One thing that makes me sick, that demon candle cap. I always screw up that lyric on purpose.
Well, we want to thank you. We want to thank you, RaiderMan, for coming on and talking history and talking what's basically talking about the torch being passed along to the next generation. I know you'll be the one to carry that torch to the next ones, because every time I would see you do the oath, you always bring a young kid up there. Say it with me. And they're like, say what? They're all shy, but you come out like, hey, let's go. Say it together. Say it together. I got.
You know what's beautiful about that? I got some young savages, no pun intended. I got some young savages that scream, I am a Raider fan. Man, if I get them babies all together, man, that is powerful, powerful stuff. And speaking of the next generation of Raider Nation, I want to do a quick shout out, because I know I got to shut up so you can close this thing out. But I can't leave out the cats that's doing it all the time for the younglings. And that's, on Violator, got to shout out to Gorilla. It's good to see Senor out there getting some run, doing this thing. Shouts out to the Our Lady of Raider Nation that's doing her thing out there and got added to the crew. Shouts out to Cisco and everything he's been doing his best to do. You know what I mean? I don't even know who all to add to this thing. I got to shout out to the Mob Boss. Shout out to Mob Boss. Shout out to Raider Homer. Shout out to it's so many people, man. Shout out what was the brother Power Raider. You know what I'm saying? I'm still looking forward to meeting that dude officially. You know what I mean? But it's a lot of people. Well, I haven't met him officially, but I'm talking about fellowshipping. It's so many people that's doing their best to push Raider Nation forward. I just want to caution each and every individual with that true heart. They didn't make us. They can't break us. We, as a collective unit, are all characters with character. Some stronger than others, but we're no caricatures. And we got to stop letting the media and the outsiders get into our thing and control what we do. I'm not asking to, be your tyrant or nothing like that. I ain't looking to be in control of nobody. But RaiderMan's gonna always represent the truth, especially with the origins and the history of the black hole and every single thing that I learned and growing up in Raider Nation. And I'm truly hoping for that day that people wake up and realize that civilizations get better with homage paid to the past. Everybody that try to think that they're doing it for themselves, screw it up every time. That's why you get mad at your teenage kids. They think they're smarter than you. They think they're doing something that you ain't done already. You can't do it like us. I understand. I'm off the pot.
Well, hey, that's us who grew up in it, like myself. You started from the beginning. Asylum, who was there from the tail end of that era throughout the rest of the Oakland era. He was there. Converted his dad over to a Raider fan, and then helped me with.
I got him to be a season ticket holder.
That's significant.
Somebody I grew up watching. We talked about Douglas, 49er fan, only watching 49er games. And I got him to be a season ticket holder.
Now
going to the Raider games for what was it, like 5 years?
See, it's hard to quantify that. QB1. I throw a shout out to my wife, QB1. She grew up in a family that was notorious Weiner season ticket holders. Her grandmother, her aunt, like for years, decades, season ticket holder. She used to go to the games with her dad when she was a little kid. That kind of crap. She used to be out there, taking hostage to candle crap. I saved her from the burning bridge. Now she's happily married, 15 years under Raider Nation. She loving life. She realizing the fallacies of her past. I told her I don't hold it against her. You was a kid, but considering you made the right decision.
I'm showing you the path of righteousness.
Hey man, forgiveness is possible. You know what I mean? Forgiveness has to be had. Especially for kids, babies don't, they make mistakes, but they're not always their fault. They think they're doing the right thing. They think they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Hey, now, well, real talk, man, on everything. And this is just in case we still got, Niner fans on the line. God bless you guys, man. Real talk. As fans, as people in those stands that go there to hopefully retain or to coop some kind of entertainment value for all the damn money that they're raking us over the barrel to get, we deserve to have a place where we can enjoy each other. And hopefully, the way we did it in the black hole, in our heyday, because, being notorious, that name Notorious came out recently, but we became notorious because of who we were, the people that made that thing up, our mosh pit in the end zone and everything else. And the people that were on the outside, like especially let's target our 49er brothers and sisters. There was such a stigma between the fans of hate and all the rest of that crap that was propagated in narratives from the Bay Area. And it's time for people to realize that we control those narratives. So let's have the Thanksgiving arguments, piss on my team. I'm going to piss on your team, but let's stop crapping on each other as human beings. Let's bring humanity back. Let's bring our own entertainment back to our space, because ultimately we run that space. And as a Raider fan, you can't tarnish mine. You might be a Weiner fan and all the rest of that stuff, but I'm telling you, I go by the credo. We had two for you know what to do. You don't pump no pussy over. You don't threaten my existence. But as fans, we can't allow for the society to keep threatening each other's existence. People got to learn how to speak up, do stuff that's right. And the black hole, King Al allowed us the freedom to police ourselves. You get out of line, we throwing your ass over the wall for Jackson and Dixon to get. You don't need to send security over here, because none of us was the problem. And even though we were wearing the black hat, if people want to look at us like the rogues and whatnot and throw off all those damn stereotypes on us and all the rest of that crap. But for 30 years, this face, the only difference in this face from now and then is a few gray hairs and a whole lot of hair on my head. Still bald, still no police record, still not ominous in the society. You know what I mean? It's like we human beings, we're people. And then they tried to dehumanize us. And Black Hole Rob took a stand with the gentleman, Mr. Newhouse, in the very beginning of this thing to set this thing off. Let the world know that as human beings, we're able to stand up against your stereotypes. We are here. You can have a conversation with us. You can't throw off on us. You can talk to us. Yeah. And until we get that back, until we start treating each other like that, how are we going to expect the world to treat us like that? And the people that didn't even help create this thing are the people that's creating the problems. So it's time for the people that's sitting in their area to throw their ass over the wall and let security come get them.
Old school style.
You touch the field, you going to jail. That was the rule. You touch the field, you going to jail. Throw your ass over the wall. Let them deal with it.
Well, we want to thank you very much. I know it's short notice, but we appreciate you coming on and just giving us some history and talking about those times and where it all. I guess you could say where it all started, when Raider Nation started, and where it came from, and how it how it was and how it's going to be now. So I know you're carrying that torch to try to get it back to where it needs to be, where it was family before. I was trying to think of a word that started with an F, but family before whatever.
Family before fucked over.
Yeah. So, thanks, Raider, man. Asylum. Any last words? Any last words before we close out the show?
No, just what I always say. It's just fucking Raiders.
Or how Asylum. I mean, Raider Man. The end of his oath. We say it together. I am
a Raiders fan.
One more time. I am
a Raiders fan.
A Raiders fan. Rest in peace, Dave. Rest in peace, Rob Rivera. That is our show today. We appreciate you, Raider Man. And
shout out, shameless plug to my mentor, man, Andre Farr. Shout out to the Farr family and Farr family best. And just know, man, the movement is underway and we coming. It's going to be more tsunami-like than anything. Just consider this the water rolling back to create the momentum. But you don't want to end up on the top of one of them pine trees without a lifesaver.
Well, we end every show like we always do with a word from Raider Milt, aka my high school coach, Coach Wallace, who was also out there in those old tailgates talking mess to the opposing fans. So he carries the spirit. We carry his spirit along too. All those great Raider Nation, who are no longer with us. So that's what we do in the show. But before we go into that, I want to end with this, and then we're going to go into the outro. All right, Raider Man, thank you very much. Asylum, we'll come back next week, and we'll start talking Raider football. Geno Smith, offensive line, upgrades, and all that. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good night. And I want to end with this, and then we'll end with the actual intro. Here we go.
We look at the Raiders as real life. Stuff leaves, stuff dies, stuff moves, stuff changes. We don't. That's Raider Nation.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak, your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight. Again, I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.